This video is somewhat going to deviate away from the normal stuff that I talk about, but it's still going to have to do with healing and psychology and spirituality and personal growth and all of that. Um, I just wanted to take the time to talk about something that is very interesting to me because I think that this actually happens in people's lives more often than we might be aware of. Um, I'm not going to say what it is or the surrounding logistics, but I learned something about myself at an early age, and it actually wasn't true, but it led me to live a very specific way. And that way that it led me to live, I mean, when you believe something to be true about yourself, you live a very specific way, right? Um, and the way that you see yourself and the way that you allow people to approach you and treat you is very much centered around that, right? So I learned something about myself that was not true. I'm not going to get into the logistics of what it was, but it led me to live a very specific way. um, it led me to cultivate very specific types of relationships with people and even romantic partners, of course. And it's crazy because if you believe something, right? If you believe something to be true, if it doesn't matter what it is, right? Your life is going to look a very certain way, a very specific way. Um, and it's just so fascinating because, like, everything that I've experienced throughout my life, ever since I learned this thing about me that actually turned out to be untrue. I mean, just like imagine, imagine living your entire life believing this thing about yourself that is actually untrue, right? Like everything that you cultivate in life, your interests, your relationships, everything that you go after, everything that you don't go after. Um, One of the most important reasons why knowing yourself is so important is because it literally shapes not only how you see yourself but how you live your life. And it's just so fascinating. It really is. And that's the other thing too. Like, you can live your entire life believing something about yourself, but if it's not true, then what the fuck are you actually believing? You know. And so let me compare that actually to, you know, worthiness, right? Somebody might believe that they are worthless simply because they learned that as a belief from, say, I don't know, a parent, their caretaker. Does that mean it's true? Well, I mean, no, it doesn't. But that doesn't change the fact that that person is still going to believe that, right? We can believe anything we want to. It doesn't mean it's true. And the more I heal and the more I grow, the more I learn about myself and the more I realize just how, like, flexible personality is, you know? Just because you learn something about yourself doesn't really mean that it's true. So just because somebody tells you something about yourself doesn't mean it's actually true, right? Like, you could believe, or you could learn, for instance, that you are worthless, right? To take it even further, you are a worthless piece of shit. You could learn a belief that you are a worthless piece of shit. You could learn that, right? Maybe somebody in your life early on tells you that, right? And it sticks with you because that's what happens with us, right? We learn a belief about ourselves and it sticks with us. We learn a belief that we are not worthy, that we are worthless, that we are this, that, and the other, and it sticks with us. And our entire life begins to be dictated by that belief, right? Oh, well, if you're worthless, then you're not worthy, clearly, of healthy relationships. You are instead worthy of people that treat you like shit, both friends and romantic partners, right? And it's just fascinating because, like, this thing that I learned about myself that I found out was actually untrue, it really shaped my entire life. It shaped my relationships, it shaped the way that I approached myself, it shaped the way that I approached what I wanted in life. It shaped everything, you know? And you could literally you could learn a belief about yourself and be trapped inside of a prison because of that belief. You know, for instance, there is this, I believe it's a documentary on, might be Netflix, maybe it's Amazon Prime. I'm not sure which one it is, and I don't remember the name of the documentary, but this now woman, her name is Gypsy. She was raised by a mother that led her to believe that she couldn't walk and that she had cancer and that she was just sick. And then she found out that it wasn't true, and her mother was just like this sick, fucking twisted person that taught her this belief about herself that wasn't true, but led her to live a very specific life based around that belief, right? Imagine being led to believe that you are like a paraplegic or a quadriplegic and you can't walk, right? And not only that, but on top of that, you have cancer and you're sick and you're dying and this, that, and the other, and not one single goddamn piece of that shit is actually true. Imagine living that way, right? Imagine how it molds you as a person, your beliefs about yourself, about life, about people, about things, right? And then, you're with somebody and they're like, you know that you don't have cancer, you know that you're not sick, you know that you can stand up and walk, right? And then you do it, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck, right? And then you start to open up and you start to be like, oh, well, wait a second. I'm a huge believer in the bigger fucking picture, in questioning the multi-leveled shit out of your life and your reality and just everything, because I don't buy a single goddamn motherfucking thing that anyone says to me. You've got to gain my fucking deep-seated trust to get me to believe a single motherfucking thing that you have to say, right? Especially about me. There's nobody that knows me better than myself at this point in my life and moving forward. And anybody that claims that they do can have a nice sayonara. But imagine that. Imagine being lied to. Imagine being told that you are this or you're that, and for that reason you can't fucking walk, or you have cancer, or this, that, and the other. Being told this narrative about yourself, about your life, that's just simply not fucking true. And then living years and years and years, decades of your entire life believing that narrative, believing all of that shit. Fuck that, man. And you can be told a lie by somebody early on in your life, whether out of fucking bad, unhealthy intention or because they just simply don't know better. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You can be sold a lie and it will shape your life. And if you don't wake up from that fucking lie, from that fucking illusion, the rest of your life will be shaped. And that's just the reality of it.